And she joins us now, Rosalind Peterson of California Skywatch. She's the president and co-founder of the Agriculture Defense Coalition, and she just does an amazing job out there. And she's been talking about the geoengineering, laymen call it chemtrailing, since before the government admitted they were doing it. And she joins us now to break down the latest on all of this and how it ties into weather mod drones, what's happening in the oceans, all of this. Joining us right now. Rosalind, thank you for coming on.
Well, thank you for having me as a guest on your show today. It's a pleasure and honor to be here with you.
There's so much to talk about. What do you want to get into first? What do you think of Bill Gates now publicly is going to spray sulfur dioxide on us?
Well, heaven help us, because sulfur dioxide, when it comes back down to Earth, is going to cause air pollution, water pollution, acid rains, which are going to destroy our forest lands and agriculture crop production. And when they're talking about enough to have a significant experiment, this is going to be several megatons, I'm sure, because David Keith loves to talk in the form of putting megatons up there, and it can destroy beneficial atmospheric ozone. So I don't get why we are going to stand by and allow Bill Gates and David Keith to pollute our water, to pollute our air, to destroy beneficial atmospheric ozone, just to be able to conduct an experiment. In other words, and they also say, oh, well, we think the public should finance it. So we should. So this was in the New York Times, as they were saying, oh, well, the public should finance it.
Oh, the Council on Foreign Relations came out last year and said geoengineer everything and make us pay taxes to Bill Gates to spray us. He's going to control the hurricanes and stuff. But he's a very loving person. And, of course, what's wrong with burning up the ozone layer? I mean, they admit that's what this does. It's like they're the devil and they want to destroy the planet.
Well, and just who decided that just because Bill Gates happened to get lucky and make some money at Microsoft, that all of a sudden he should play God? I mean, just, that to me irritates the heck out of me, that we have people who just because they have financial money, because they made it and got lucky, that all of a sudden they have become gods and should rule us and decide what kind of environment we should live in.
Well, usually Obama's demonizing entrepreneurs that work hard and usually don't get lucky. It's hard work. But in Bill Gates' case, it actually was getting lucky. They were worried about antitrust laws, so IBM set him up as a front company. They do that a lot. But in the case of Bill Gates, he's actually a national security level operative. That's why he heads all this up. He's actually a above ultra top secret operative.
Whatever it is, he has no right, nor does anybody else have the right, to go up and poison our atmosphere, our air, our water, our soil, and put at risk the atmosphere above us that provides life here on Earth for us. And so any type of geoengineering experiment, I mean, Bill Gates has talked about, they talk about sulfur dioxide because they want to kind of link it to volcanoes and say it's okay. But Bill Gates got on the air just the other day. It's on my geoengineering section of my website. He got on and was talking about putting aluminum oxide up. And his research and studies is not about sulfur dioxide these days. It's actually about putting up aluminum oxide. Well, the Navy is already doing that for us. They put an aluminum oxide dust cloud over the eastern seaboard of the United States, which is coming back down to Earth to contaminate air, water, and soils. It's called the U.S. Navy CARE, Charged Aerosol Release Experiment. It's on the NASA website. They're part of this as well. So we're already doing it. In other words, putting up this aluminum oxide dust cloud.
Rosalind, how do you deal with them on C-SPAN writing books, thousands of Department of Energy programs, patents on adding it to jet fuel? The skies, they admit, are 21 to 30% darker worldwide from the trails, the persistent trails. They're doing it. The soils everywhere, as you know, it's coming out, are full of aluminum. They're saying they don't know why the plants aren't growing. They're killing us. I mean, they're already doing this and then saying that they've got to bring in carbon taxes because of climate problems. But all the tests they're doing, when we talk to geoengineers, they say that would cause droughts instead of what they claim trying to cause rain. It looks like they've actually weaponized things already, something Iran claimed 2 days ago.
Well, certainly. And the U.S. Air Force has been working on owning the weather since the 1990s. And to think that they're not going to use weather as a way to coerce other countries into doing what we want, or testing it on the population here to raise food prices? Oh, absolutely. And we've got 66 ongoing weather modification programs ongoing across the United States here. And according to the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration, and on top of that, we have 169 weather modification projects going on worldwide. And to say, well, everything is caused by, climate change and warming, well, there's studies now that show that the jets leaving these contrails in our skies are warming us up. It's causing warming in the Arctic and melting in the Arctic. And so when you start to talk about, well, we need to do something about global warming, well, let's take care of the jets and stop the man-made cloud production, which changes our climate. I mean, NASA, Stanford University studies, all of this are very clear that the water vapor released by the jets are warming us up artificially, and that the Alaska melting, so that they can exploit the natural resources like Shell in Alaska and other countries can exploit and drill in the Arctic, is needed because they can't get in if those areas are frozen. Oh, this has political and all kinds of ramifications much further than most people really realize.
But of course, the control freaks want to control the weather. They call it owning the weather. It's a Pentagon document. They admit they're already weather weaponizing. They're attacking us to bankrupt us so Big Agra can come in with these seeds that are aluminum resistant. So no one else's seeds will work. They're salting the earth with aluminum dioxide. Now, there are hundreds of great products at InfoWarsTeam.com, but I want to point out the 3 that have helped me lose 37 pounds in just 2 months. Products like Beyond Tangy Tangerine, Pollen Burst, and Rebound. When I started taking the Tangy Tangerine and other products every day, I lost more than 37 pounds in just 2 months. Now that's results. I want to challenge my listeners to go to InfoWarsTeam.com and to order just 3 of their products, and you will see the changes in the way you look, feel, and in your appetite almost immediately. Start your journey to health and wellness today. InfoWarsTeam.com. Rosalind Peterson, give out your websites. There's so much more on those, and continue what the first and foremost threat is, because, they've gone from denying all this to just, yeah, we're going to be spraying you in your town. Yeah, we're going to control the climate now. We're not going to tell you the details. We're going to spray some aluminum on you, but just sit down and shut up. And by the way, Fukushima's good for you.
I absolutely agree with you. This is not going down the right path at all, in any direction. And, what bothers me here is, how did the Air Force get into the business of spraying to kill mosquitoes with C-130 aircraft?
It's all conditioning us.
But look at what they're putting on us. They're putting on us a carcinogen. Not a possible carcinogen, a listed carcinogen, especially for men, but a carcinogen. And they're spraying it to kill mosquitoes. Now, think about this. What they're spraying is toxic to birds, fish. It's toxic to all of the natural predators of mosquitoes, so it's going to kill the natural predators off, and it's going to give everyone sprayed cancer, because eventually you're going to be breathing this, your kids will breathe it, people are going to get sick. And here's the label for dibrome, or NALED, which the Air Force is spraying on Florida as we speak. Says, emergency overview, danger, poison, corrosive, clear amber liquid with a sharp, pungent odor that causes irreversible eye and skin damage, may be fatal if swallowed, inhaled or absorbed through the skin and eyes. Rapidly absorbed through the skin, repeated irritation or skin contact may, without symptoms, progressively increase susceptibility to organophosphate poisoning. May be an aspiration hazard, may cause an allergic reaction. The product is combustible and toxic to fish, birds, and other wildlife. Now just look at what they're spraying on the residents of Florida with a C-130 cargo plane that can spray an unlimited amount of this chemical over everything. And they're spraying your homes, your backyards. They're spraying everything. And
but it's because they never did it before, but now they are, and it's no big deal. Aluminum, barium, radioactive isotopes, bug poison. I mean, they are loving us right now.
Well, sure, because we're putting up with it, and we're just being their guinea pigs for their experiments.
Well, you know, cancer and Alzheimer's and all the other diseases are off the charts. I mean, we ought to, like Obama said, everything good comes from government. And I think, Rosalind Peterson, that you should get down on your knees and thank them for chemtrailing you right now.
Why is that?
Well, you're not an extremist, are you?
No, but I object to being poisoned without having a say in what they're doing. I object to being subjected to some company having me have genetically modified mosquitoes and that are going to infect us and kill the population.
Now, it's not that bad.
It isn't?
No, I mean, so what if pediatric cancer is up over 10,000% and breast cancer up over 2,000%. I mean, so what if people are dying left and right? I mean, so they did secret testing on troops thousands of times, killing them with nerve gas. Rosalind, I mean, these are good people running things. You didn't hear Obama's speech where he said everything good comes from the government?
Well, not that particular one, no.
All right, listen, let's get into sonar. You've been looking heavily into that. They're not only helping us, they're helping the marine mammals and releasing GMO salmon that will extinct the other ones, they admit. So there's more good news straight ahead. Thank you, Obama. Thank you, New World Order.
Do you understand how dark it is? How far down the line we are? How late it is?
You know, notice that George Soros-funded Think Progress and Media Matters are all freaking out that Drudge links to Infowars.com and tells the media to take him to task as if that will punish Drudge. You can't take him to task. All Drudge does is link to a wide spectrum of news, government documents, whatever it is. I mean, it's an aggregating site. There's nothing you can take away from him. I mean, all you do with demonizing him is make him cooler because you guys are so uncool, so untrusted, so disliked that when you attack somebody, that's the seal of approval. And you figure that out. That's why you've got internet kill switches and re-education centers set up. And you're very upset. It scares you that any day we can put an article out at Infowars.com and you can't gatekeep it. Even if Drudge wasn't there, our listeners are able to punch stuff out and get it out there. Drudge supercharges that. And they talk about how horrible it is that this is funding Infowars. Really, it's a small part of it, but you can believe it's a big part of it if you want. What's funding it is subscriptions to PrisonPlanet.tv. Let me just give you a little news flash. Sponsors on radio. You know, we're on hundreds of radio stations, and sponsors on internet, and books and videos and things we sell. And then anytime I need to, I don't like to, government loves to come give you a new tax and force you at gunpoint to do something. We can go to our listeners and get money. Which, you know, we're going to do a money bomb this year because, you know, we need to hire more people, get stuff running better. So don't worry. For all our detractors, we'll do a big 48-hour marathon. Well, who wants to go 24 hours straight? We'll go 48 hours, live broadcast. And I'm gonna use this for fundraising here, the fact that you want to shut our funding off. And I predict this year, even though we're in an engineered depression, will be one of the big, I bet we're going to get double any previous money bomb. Because I'm just going to point out you don't want us around. How do you like that? See, George Soros gets banker bailout money and government contract money. I've analyzed it, and then goes and funds anti-American globalist takeovers. We just sit here to the American people and say, if you support us, buy our books and videos at InfoWarsShop.com. Now, I'm pretty wound up today, Rosalind Peterson. I know you come on the nightly news quite a bit and just do invaluable work. In 3 or 4 minutes finishing up here, and we look forward to getting you back on the news commercial-free soon. Tell us about the websites, the sonar issues, what else you're looking at, because I don't know anybody out there more on, you know, the skywatch of what's happening and what you're dealing with.
Well, anyone can go to agriculturedefensecoalition.org or CaliforniaSkywatch.com. There's a category section that interlinks them, and you can look up any of the sections and any of the issues that we've talked about here today and find the government documents, the studies, the research. 10 years of it is on the two websites, and you can find all of the government documents and the information about what we were talking about here today. I want to encourage everyone to go to the U.S. Navy section, because the U.S. Navy has decided that they're going to increase the number of their exercises or expand the areas in which they may occur in the Atlantic, the Pacific, and the Gulf of Mexico, and that virtually every coastal state will be affected by their 5-year warfare testing exercises, new weapons testing experiments, etc. And this is over land areas as well as in all of our ocean areas surrounding the United States and in the island areas like the Marianas near Guam and in the Hawaiian Islands. And they're going to make the ranges so big. You can go to my website at the U.S. Navy and look at the U.S. Navy map, and you'll see their map, and the range of extension on the Atlantic side of the ocean goes from the state of Maine and up where the Canadian border is all the way down to Florida, and then it extends into the Gulf of Mexico. This is for weapons training, bomb blasts, 5,000-pound bombs, 1,000-pound bombs, 500-pound bombs, sonar testing, chemical testing, laser testing, magnetic type of testing, radars, sonars, lasers, you name it, they're going to be testing it. And they're going to be testing it on our marine mammals. 11.7 million are going to be disrupted, and the Navy wants to practice in every national marine sanctuary, marine reserve, biologically sensitive area, and to use sonar while the whales are migrating. It's going to be a holocaust in our oceans with shock and awe as the end result. And this is war testing. This is war practice and war testing. The United States Navy has decided to go to war on the oceans of the world all around us and to conduct a massacre in the name of war practice. Now, they're going to be going all the way from the Gulf of Alaska down to Southern California, all the way across to the Hawaiian Islands and to the Marianas Islands, testing inside or outside the various ranges. And I'm going to tell you the holocaust that is going to be committed on the marine mammals, the fish, the coral reefs from the bomb blasts, the missiles. And I'm going to tell you, this is all live fire. This is no duds. This is no just ordinary practice.
Well, you've got to spray bug poison on all the major cities as corporate welfare, and you've got to buy more bombs so you can expend them, and you got to bankrupt the taxpayer somehow.
Of course.
Yeah. Well,
and they're well on their way, and I'm going to tell you that the poisons that they're going to put in the atmosphere with the aluminum oxide testing and the trimethyl aluminum testing and atmospheric testing and all these other things they're doing. And you can read online. Go to the U.S. Navy websites. I put them online. You can read the environmental impact statements. You can read exactly what they intend to do and when they're going to do it and how many ranges are now in operation and the nuclear-powered drones they're talking about.
Oh, wonderful. I love nuclear-powered things falling out of the sky. Well, you've been seeing all these articles. The London Guardian, there was a new one this week. Another environmentalist said radiation's good because it gets rid of humans. There was actually a big articles out praising radiation in Chernobyl because it ran the humans out. I mean, come on, don't be an extremist. Radiation is loving. Well, listen, I really appreciate you joining us, Rosalind Peterson, and we'll talk to you very soon from Skywatch, California. God bless you.
Okay, and thank you.
Thank you. There she goes. Visit Infowars.com and PrisonPlanet.com. When you're on the site, you can also tune in 24 hours a day to my daily radio broadcast. There's also a free iPhone app to listen to the syndicated radio show when and where you want.